Hi Ricky, it's Kristen and I'm a physical therapist. From the information you've given me, you're still suffering from a lot of muscle spasms. The best thing to reduce muscle spasms is stretching, which you're doing, and the next best thing is to drink plenty of water. You also want to make sure you're getting appropriate nutrition. So drinking water and eating things that are high in potassium, such as a banana, will help you reduce those muscle spasms. So depending on what your diet is already, I would increase your water intake and increase your banana intake and see what happens. Sometimes it gets more complicated than that, and you may need to have a blood test done to test electrolyte levels if the spasms don't reside as you continue to stretch, appropriately hydrate, and then begin to strengthen. So that's my recommendation as far as muscle spasms go. Then as far as strengthening and the progression of exercises, I'm going to give you a few exercises to just increase your strength of your hamstrings, your calves, and just lower extremity strength in general. So I'm going to first show you the best just general lower extremity strengthening exercise that I like to give, and that is just from sit to stand and that progression. So I want your feet about shoulder width apart. And since you say you spend a lot of time in a seated position, this will be a good exercise for you to do. You could do 10, 2 or 3 times throughout your day, and that will simplify your exercise plan. So you're going to simply sit in a chair. You're wanting to use, at the beginning you may need to use some support if you can't just sit up from the seated position, but the goal is to use it without support or without having to push off, so you're really using your legs to strengthen. If you at first need to use your arm rest to stand, go ahead and do that. And then once your legs get stronger, you can progress to just pushing off your legs like this. And you have to really shift your weight so your nose is over your toes in order to stand up. So you really shift your weight forward. You get a forward weight shift in order to progress. And then your goal is to be able to go from sit to stand from a seated position without using any support. And doing this 10 times, 2 to 3 times a day, will help strengthen your lower extremities. The next thing is, you said strengthening, you had done a few hamstrings curls which seemed to aggravate your hamstring, and you felt you were progressing those exercises too quickly. A seated hamstring curl is a lot less aggressive than a standing one. So if you could find some tubing or some resistance, put it around a door or something that's in a stable position, put your foot through it, and then just do a hamstring curl from a seated position. This will isolate the hamstrings. There's pulley systems at gyms or hamstring curl machines you can also do if you attend a gym or have access to that. And what I want you to do is do it 2 sets of 15 each day. If that's too difficult at first, begin with 2 sets of 7 and progress to being able to do 2 sets of 15. And even though one leg is more injured than the other, do it on both legs. So start at leg seated and do a seated hamstring curl. Then in order to isolate your calves, what I want you to do is do a seated heel raise. Once you can do 2 sets of 15 seated using both legs, I want you to do 2 sets of 15 using one leg, and then again do it on both legs. And once that becomes easy, you're going to do a standing heel raise. Stand supported, feet about shoulder width apart, and you're going to do a heel raise standing. Once you can do 2 sets of 15, pain-free, I want you to isolate and stand just on one leg at a time and do 2 sets of 15 standing on one leg. The hamstring curls, so here's the single leg heel raise. And again, switch and do it on both legs. The hamstring curl can also be progressed by using a band or pulley system. You use it in the same manner, but standing, and this is a much harder progression to do it unsupported with the leg unsupported. So this would be a nice progression for you as far as your hamstrings go. So those 3 exercises, sit to stand, heel raises, and hamstring curls, and those progressions should really help you. Strengthen your legs, which should prevent re-injury. Also, keep up the stretches that you had previously learned. If you have any other further questions, please feel free to contact us again. Be well.